We made it into the papers.
And that's that. How we ended up with a Clarksons farm situation. Got a wee party of cows following me this morning. Morning, Holly. What a beast. Big breakdown. Is the drill working there? So, how we ended up with a Clarksons farm situation. I'll try and run through it as quick as possible because I don't want to ramble on. Basically, we opened a sunflower trail. If you don't know, you can follow all of how we did it in previous videos. Opened the sunflower trail at the farm shop we've already got. Kind of gained traction over a few weeks. I'll show you a promo vid right now. So you drone pictures, of which he just asked if he could do that, and he said yeah, no problem, as long as we can use the images. And his own images he posted on Facebook, and they just kind of caught off like wildfire. Went flying on Facebook, loads of interactions, loads of shares, loads of all that kind of stuff, and it built and built, and the weekends were getting busier and busier, and then it ended up in the Daily Record newspaper, and that was when the Saturday that we had to close came in. It just was wild. We set off the day expecting it to be quite busy. We were prepared for it, we had the staff. Car park, all the grass fields you can see right now that people are parking, that was never car park for the shop before, so you can see how much car park space we extended by. So basically all that filled up, all the normal car park filled up, and we ended up with this queue on the road. And we got to the stage where we had to just make the decision to close. The local roads around the farm are not made for that kind of volume of traffic. People were starting to park their cars in the village and walk, and traffic wasn't able to move. The corners aren't very good, you can't see around them, so we had to make the decision to close and get rid of the traffic. You can see me in this image, that's me walking back from telling all those cars that were closed. That was a tricky one. There is the option, yes, you could have opened another field, but then you run the risk of people on the roads, children on the roads, and that's just something we didn't want to consider an option. So closed up, and that was that.
We made it into the papers, front page. Should have plugged the YouTube channel, Crawford Farms. Anyway, too late now. Maybe next year.
There's a few tweaks to make obviously for next year in terms of booking, maybe add more food and whatnot available there so the shop isn't kind of overwhelmed as well. Anything else you could suggest, put down below if you were at it, you think would work well, or you could add to it, or you could tweak. Always open to take on suggestions, but really steep learning curve, learned a lot. Kind of try and do it again next year, replicate it, just with slight changes. Yeah, I think, well, 99.9% of everyone who was there enjoyed it and had a really good time and are looking forward to next year. So in that standpoint, it's gone really well. It wound up in 7 newspapers on Monday or something. STV are coming out on Monday, so you'll be watching this on Sunday. So as of kind of, that was Saturday, so 8 days ago, that was when it was crazy. So all in all, really happy with how it went. Everyone who came out, thank you. Everyone who's watching along just now, seeing how it went. Thanks for watching. If you want to go back and see how the trail was actually made and whatnot, it is all documented in previous videos, so you can have a look at it there. That's taking a load of seed along the road this morning, so didn't film anything yesterday. Yesterday was Saturday and 11th, and the sunflowers just went mental. So I'm waiting to put some bales in front of the entrance, the closed sign. We've posted everything on social media, same with clothes, did that yesterday afternoon, so hopefully that gets around. And that's that. Done. Prematurely, but it was a success. It was a great success. Just significantly more traffic than we could have ever thought and could have ever planned for, to be honest. We know that for next year. Got signs in the front, signs on the back, take them all down the yard, get everything packed up for next year. Still using the dung grab to shift bales about because the new ram I've ordered still to come, should come tomorrow. This will have to do for now. One at a time, takes a bit longer, but anyway. And it's a bit harsh on the bales, so you can see them crinkling up there and getting squashed and squeezed in the wrong directions, but it'll just be used for bedding for our cattle, so do no harm. All I've got left is the fridge and the freezer to shift. Harvest hare's gone, so need to go up just now, grab the fridge and the freezer. Just doing it right now because there's no one about. Just much prefer driving the machines and get about when there's no one about. So we'll go shift the freezer, shift the fridge, get them out of the road. What we do is we wrap them up in silage wrap, and that just stops any ingress of dust or anything like that, and keeps them nice and clean, so that when we use them again, they're fresh. One fridge, one freezer. We'll get them back, get them up to the back of the shop, get them wrapped, get them put away. Also today, found out that they're scrapping trailer tests. So to tow up to 3,500 kilo, I think it is, you don't need a test anymore. BE test. I did mine a couple of years ago, it cost me 500 quid to do. They scrapped it, so you don't need it anymore. Which is, I think it's a bit mental, but I think they're doing it to free up the kind of testers, the invigilators, whatever you call them, to do HGV stuff because there's such a big shortage. But if I was on the other end of it and I still had to do the test, I'd be laughing. I'd be loving it. Great decision. These wee bits of video coming, they're actually from last week when we had the dryer going, just with the burners. I didn't put them in on the day because the video was far too long, but it's quite interesting. I'll show you the burners actually. This is the perfect time to see them in the dark. That's the burner up there through that mesh. So the air is getting drawn through the mesh towards the burner. Fuel, you can't see, but this centre column, the fuel and air mixture will go up there. As you can see, the burner's just gone off, or it's reached the temperature of air it's needing. The burner will go back on just in a second or two. There you go, that's the back up to high temp. So the centre column is where the fuel and air mixture comes from and is burning, and the air is drawn up around the side, and then the heat from that burn heats up the air that's getting drawn in. This is it on low burn. Just wait a second, that's it on full burn. There's a lot more airflow going through there. No idea if you could hear anything I said there, but effectively you've got a kind of centre column, and that's where your flame is. It's kerosene, so it's a fuel and air mixture, obviously, burns, produces a flame, and then the air is drawn up round about that centre column, and that air heats up, and that air then draws through the crop. I didn't explain it very well out there, but anyway, basically that's your burners. So that wee flame there, that's your kerosene and air mixture, which is burning, producing heat, and then you've got airflow round about it coming in, and that airflow is heating up as it goes past this flame. And once it's up here and it's warm, there's a sensor up here that senses what temperature the air's at, and we're kind of, if we're drying seed, we want it to be at 60 degrees. So once it reaches 60 degrees, the flame then drops down a level, which you saw in the video, until the kind of temperature sensor drops down to like 59, and then it'll come back on again. It'll just cycle between that, keeping the temperature at an average of 60, but not above that. And then that airflow then travels through the grain dryer and out the fan, and that draws out the moisture which is in
the grain dryer. This is the hopper of the grain dryer. Easy peasy. And if we're not drying seed, then it reaches 90 degrees, not 60.